Today we're here with Tim Armbruster. Tim is the CEO of Grind Analytics. And today we're going to speak about how AI is changing the business landscape. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Hi, Judy. I'm doing really well.
Thanks so much for coming on today's episode. This is an important topic for everyone. I'm sure everyone in 2025 is excited and needing some guidance on how to adopt AI.
Right.
So let's begin.
Yeah, AI, I think it's affecting every business almost. You're very few businesses. If you're washing windows out of a truck and taking cash, maybe you're not impacted by AI. I think literally every business is impacted by AI. And I think, a lot of people have questions. Some people are on the front lines adopting it, but a lot of people, and probably most people, are wondering how their businesses can adopt AI. How can they integrate AI? I think there's a lot of fear and legitimate fear around, companies getting ahead from implementing AI. And you can definitely get ahead of your competitors by using AI. And you can also slip behind your competitors if you're not. And especially businesses that are utilizing information as their primary. So anything, mortgage, financial services, insurance, those types of businesses that utilize a lot of data, are making predictions, processing, utilizing a lot of documents. Those types of businesses are just being transformed at a rapid pace. And if you're not on that AI bandwagon, you're going to get outpaced because those businesses definitely will be transformed. So I think it can be overwhelming, especially with AI, the pace of innovation that's happening. It is just mind-boggling to try to keep up. Literally every week, multiple times a week, there's new announcements, new technologies, new companies, new releases. It is just really difficult to keep up with what's happening in AI. And I think, we've kind of put together a playbook or some guidelines around what a company can do to get involved in AI. And I think
Right.
it's more important really to create a discipline around how you're going to integrate AI into your company's culture and then adopting a specific AI. I mean, the AI technology is changing so fast. If I said, here's what you have to do, implement these three technologies to keep up with AI, here's what you should
Right.
do now, and literally in 3 months, it's going to be a different list. It's changing that fast. So I think what a company should do right now in implementing AI is putting a discipline in place to keep up with AI. And that can be really fun to do. We put together a list of kind of 12 bullets, 12 things I think stay on top of, and kind of wanted to talk about those, Judy.
Yeah, I actually was going to ask you what are some of these tactics that businesses can utilize
Mhm.
now and get into these AI habits. So let's hear them. What are these steps?
Yeah, I think so. The first and the last are the most important. And so let me talk about some of those. So the first one is put a practice in place to keep up with AI. So put some formality around how you're going to keep up with AI. And that is just keeping informed. And that's can be, it doesn't have to be rocket science, just something simple like sign up for newsletters.
Mm,
We have I have newsletters that I subscribe to and I read them every day. And just taking 5 to 10 minutes out of your to read that newsletter, you're gonna feel way more informed if you do that. And I think that's a good start. Just but put that practice in place,
mhm.
whether it's um, videos that you're watching or newsletters. Take some time out of your day just to stay on top of AI because it's changing that fast. You really need to be on top of it all the
Yeah.
time. Okay, so that's number one. Just put a practice in place for yourself personally as a leader of a company to stay on top of AI. And I think that's probably the most important. You need to have that basis. Other things are going to branch out from there, but you need to have a basis to stay on top of it. Second, I think is, and this can be a really fun one, and I'm part of a group that I've formed. It's an external group outside of my company, but put form an internal or external group that meets weekly to discuss AI trends.
Mm.
So this is an opportunity to bring in maybe junior upcoming leaders to create some culture and synergy in cross-departmental teams, et cetera. Just some group that meets weekly, comes together, maybe have some coffee and talk about AI trends and try to make it fun, maybe not a whole lot of structure. And I think it's a way to get sort of the momentum internally in your organization to do that.
Yeah, I love that because I was going to ask you, I think for newcomers that have no idea what AI does and the capabilities of AI, it could be somewhat intimidating. And so when I hear that, oh, maybe join a group and get acclimated slowly so you don't feel so intimidated
Mhm.
and overwhelmed by this massive technology that's taking over.
Mhm. Yeah, I have a group that I formed, and it's tech entrepreneurs, successful tech entrepreneurs,
Successful
and
tech
they
entrepreneurs. Okay.
yeah, and they're looking at, okay, they've been successful in other areas of technology. How can they leverage AI to for newer entrepreneurial? And so it's very informal. It's very fun because we get to be nerds again. And we come together and, I bring my laptop. Sometimes I demo something that I thought was cool that I learned from the week before. Sometimes people demo products that they're working
Oh,
on.
wow.
It's very informal. We try to not have a super structured agenda, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
But it's also very informative. I've learned a lot from these groups and learned real things that I put into practice at Grind Analytics as well. Um,
Yeah, it sounds like a great way to just level up your business and get educated.
yeah, definitely. And it's fun. So that's number. So the first one was put a practice in place to keep up
Mhm.
with AI. Second, form an internal or external group. I think the third one is that's all good, but you should, depending on the size of your company, consider hiring someone internally. Go ahead and hire someone internally that is actually knows what they're doing with AI. I think that's a good thing. There are a lot of complexities around implementing AI. Someone who has some experience, someone who probably even more important than that is someone who's dedicated to spend time on it and implement it. So it's not a side job, a side desk initiative for someone's
Mm.
have some dedicated resources to it. And that can be formed of hiring someone internally. It can also be hiring a consultant externally,
Mhm.
but actually having someone who's dedicated within your organization specifically to deal with AI. So that third one is consider hiring someone internally or externally that has a specific responsibility for AI.
I have a question that's tied
Mhm.
into that tip. So I understand that the performance level would probably be greater if you hired someone that knows what they're doing with AI.
Mhm.
But what about the costs? And can you share more of any cost reductions or
Yeah, so I think, I mean, there with every hiring um, decision, there are pros and cons.
right?
You can have someone internally that knows your business really well, has a lot of interest in AI, and has some technical expertise. Probably would not do too bad of a job internally implementing AI within your organization. Okay,
Right.
it's AI. The tools available with AI now are a
Mhm.
lot easier to use than they were 6 months ago, 2 years ago, for sure. So I think the level of specific AI expertise
Mhm.
you don't need to be a data scientist anymore to utilize AI. I
So
think
it
someone
sound yeah, so it sounds super user friendly for people like me.
Yeah, I mean, implementing AI that's integrated within your organization, where you're automating document generation, automating reading documents, there's a high level of technical expertise, I would say.
Right.
Uh, so someone who's pretty technical, if you're really, depending on, what they're doing within your organization, I think is really important. It's always better to have someone who knows
What
the
they're
AI
doing.
tools,
Yeah.
has experience. So, and depending on your organization, the balance between knowing someone who's pretty technical, who knows your business really well, hiring, dedicating that person to AI versus hiring someone externally who may not know your specific business very well, but knows AI really well. That might be a better fit for some organizations. And for organizations that don't have the budget for someone dedicated, uh, Grind Analytics is a good partner. We can come in and provide services that augment your internal organization as well.
Tim, can you just share? I'm curious. So what does your company do?
Grind Analytics, we are the name Grind Analytics comes from, we really started in business intelligence and providing business intelligence service. So integrating data and into centralized data warehouses, providing business intelligence in terms of reports, data, dashboards, et cetera, really helping businesses measure their business and drive efficiency and really improve their bottom line through business intelligence services. And we have other services and products as well, but that's our primary business that we have focused on. We have really shifted now because it's a really easy. It makes sense for us to shift, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But we really shifted to an AI first mentality,
Oh,
and so we're
wow.
really helping businesses implement AI. We've integrated AI into our existing products as well as provide AI specific products as well. One of the biggest problems in implementing AI
Hmm.
is having access to the data and having access to good data.
Right.
And you have to do that to train the models, whether you're training it on hundreds of thousands of documents or data, or just providing on a transactional basis, having access to the data so AI can make a decision, provide the data back. So that's all data integration. It's all preparing data. And in my experience, and I've been hands-on implementing AI as well, that's the biggest amount of work is really in preparing the data, integrating it properly, making sure you have quality data, and training the AI models on that data set. So we're very, it is and so that fits really well with our background as data experts.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like you're meticulously curating data. And also, this data, is this in real time?
It depends on what you're talking about. So when we train AI models,
Right.
it's usually not in real time. So we're
Okay.
taking large sets of data, massive data sets, depending on what we're looking at. Suppose we have a product called Modem AI Docs,
Right.
and that is specific for the mortgage industry. We ingest documents that are part of the mortgage transaction. We classify those, extract data, and we
Right.
have Modem AI rules that processes that extracted data, et cetera. So when we're training those models, we're training it to classify documents. And so that's obviously not real time. We're taking
Right.
huge sets of data, hundreds of thousands of documents to train the AI to recognize what those documents are and classify them properly. It's a
Got it.
huge time savings for the mortgage industry. I mean, the mortgage industry is still so manual in how it deals with
Mm,
documents, how it deals with data, hugely
yeah.
manually intensive. So our AI, Modem AI docs ingests those documents,
Right.
extracts the data, classifies the document, all using AI.
Yeah, it sounds like you're helping the mortgage industry accelerate their performance rather than spending all this manual work collecting data from multiple sources.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. Any industry that is very data intensive like that, data and document intensive, should be
Stream.
100% full steam ahead on AI. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really one of the biggest areas, document processing data. Those areas AI should be handling those.
Yeah, this is great information. I mean, I if I didn't speak with you, I wouldn't know that this existed and that this is a capability that you could just hire out and bring someone in to do it for you instead of spending endless amount of hours and months collecting and gathering and aggregating. So this is a great skill and capability, and I'm sure operational people love you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's, I mean, so real time, your question was real time versus not real time. So we train when we're training our models,
Hmm.
it's not real time, but then obviously they have to process the documents in real time. So someone submits a loan application. There's a document collection process where from the potential
Oh,
borrower, you collect a bunch of documents. I mean, those are, we see loan files with 300 physical documents attached to them.
oh,
Just
wow.
to give you the scale of how
Right.
manually intensive this is. And
Yes.
we're not talking about saving 15 minutes. We're talking about saving dozens of hours on per loan file. So huge, huge lift. And
Yeah.
so that's a good example of competition. If so, suppose one mortgage company is using all these efficiencies, and another mortgage company is not using all these gains and efficiencies. Um, so, if you're a borrower, you're submitting your loan application and all these documents to one lender, and you submit one to another lender. One's using AI, one's not. So your loan is going to get processed way faster if you're using the lender that's using all these efficiencies. So it's really a customer service gain as well. So there's if you're not on top of if you're in that type of business and you're not leveraging AI, you're going to get
Hit.
outcompeted.
Yeah.
You're going
I
to get
mean, this
outcompeted.
this
Yeah.
is really interesting, Tim. I mean, also, I mean, it just makes me think about the accuracy of the reporting as well, right? I mean, if AI is able to produce more accurate data, it's going to affect the decision makers and looking at that data. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Or
Yes. For the most part, AI is more accurate. Now, that's not a blanket statement.
yeah, yeah, understood.
So it depends on the problem you're trying to solve. But
Right.
there are situations where you might not want to use AI.
Got
And
it.
and that's where having an AI expert in-house can really help to say if it's a good AI expert that says, hey, AI is not quite ready for this area. You might be, if AI is denying medical claims when it shouldn't, for example, things
Right.
like that, which is sort of a topic that's
Oh, interesting. That
come
would
up
be
recently. Yeah,
yeah,
AI is denying medical claims when it shouldn't, and see that you can be liable for that. And so there are areas where you really need to understand the capabilities of AI and not overuse AI. And
yeah,
so, you said, is it more accurate? Yes, it can
yeah,
be more accurate, and it can also be inaccurate at times too. So you really have to know when to use it and when not to use it. And it's important to have an expert, but also someone who is not overusing AI. You have to be really clear about what the capabilities of AI are,
got it.
and what you shouldn't use it for.
Yeah, I would like to probably dedicate another podcast on just the discernment of data information. And that's a very interesting topic about the medical claim, but we'll save that for
Uh-huh.
another interview.
Yeah, the topic is responsible. I mean, responsible use of AI is the term that the industry
Mm,
uses. It's really you need to use it responsibly, and
interesting. Yeah,
that is a whole another topic.
topic.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the next tip.
Okay, so I think that the next one that we had, so what we just talked about was hiring someone internally who can integrate AI, and so that can be it can be someone externally, such as us as well. We're happy to come in and help. The next one is take action. So you set up a practice to stay on top of AI. You set up a group to kind of talk internally about AI. You've hired someone maybe externally or internally to be dedicated to AI. Now it's time to take action and start playing with some things. So this can be very depending on your level. If you've never used ChatGPT at all, probably sign up for a ChatGPT account, or
Right.
there's other tools out there. But start getting your hands dirty
Mm,
using AI, and so you really understand the capabilities, and you'll learn so much from that.
right.
If you're using ChatGPT, but maybe you haven't used some of the capabilities related to data, so uploading some of your data uh, some of your data, like a spreadsheet, and having it analyze it, things like that. So start using new features of it. If you're all over that, maybe you want to start with a small project to train AI to classify your documents. Maybe, whatever it is, it's going to be different for other people, but start using it in a small way. And so I think, that fourth one is just take action, start using it in some way,
Yeah.
no matter how small.
Yeah, it's just really intriguing. Before we were in the Google era, now we're in the AI era. It's almost like if you don't jump on the bandwagon, you're left behind.
Yeah. One of the things I think you'll get out of this, and this is really just take action, start using it. One of the things that I think that aren't really using AI, I think you will almost always be blown away with the capabilities. It
Mm,
is really, and you'll really start to understand, whoa, we do need to get on the AI train, because it's much more capable than some people realize. I
yeah.
think AI is one of the very few technologies that I still believe is underhyped. I believe
Mm,
absolutely transform
interesting.
many areas of our lives, business for sure. I mean, there's no question. It's could be still underhyped, in my
Interesting.
opinion.
Yeah.
And I think the more people who aren't familiar with it get their hands on it and really understand it and start to use it, I think they'll start to understand that.
Yeah. No, those are great points. And I use Chat GPT as well. And
Mhm.
I find it to be so super intelligent, things that you didn't think about. It offers another perspective or another insight that you didn't see before. And it can just deliver that information for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So the next one it's a small one, but I think it's an
Yes.
important one, is to communicate. If you're a leader in your company, communicate with your organization that you are dedicated to using AI and that your company will be adopting AI. And so whatever that means is going to mean different but send a message internally to your organization that we are for I sent that internally to our organization. We think AI first.
Right.
So what does that mean for us internally? We're a technology organization. So when we're writing software, all of my software developers have AI tools to write software,
Mm,
and it's made them much, much more efficient. And so whatever that means internally, make sure that the message is out there that it's okay to use AI for whatever that means within your organization. If they need help, drafting an email, and my team also has ChatGPT group
right.
licenses. They have the highest level of license that I could get for them. So we provide tools. I think that's another tip that I think that's actually the next tip is provide your team with tools.
Mm,
So say we're an AI first organization, is communicate with your team that your company is adopting AI. And then the next tip is provide them with the tools. So whatever that means for your organization internally. I keep using it, ChatGPT, but there's so many tools out there, hundreds of tools out there. A ChatGPT might not be the right one for you.
right.
And there's hundreds out there that perform different things, some similar to ChatGPT. So, but provide the right tools and provide tools for your organization. So I think that helps reinforce we are AI first organization. And here's tools, here's how to use them, etc.
Tim, do you find that by announcing that you're an AI company, this helps form a new culture of AI? Because now it sounds like your employees are getting acclimated, but they are also now using this as everyday habits in their work.
Yeah, and I think there is still a dynamic, especially people who are coming from school, maybe directly out of school.
Right.
It's the question is, and people who have very structured job roles, may not feel it's okay to use AI.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think in
I say,
academia
yeah,
they frown upon it because of the plagiarism and the thesis writing. They're asking ChatGPT, but
yeah,
that's from what I've gathered from the academia world. But I think in business, it's been a huge game changer.
huge game changer. But people may still, there may be a culture, am I cheating?
Oh yeah, yeah,
No, you're not cheating. Use
right,
AI, you know.
right.
I think, there's still a lot, and I see it in a lot of areas where people who write content, for example, you know,
Let's
Judy,
hear some examples.
Judy, people who write content, for example, they may say, "Hey, this is my core job.
Right,
this is my core value add.
right,
I'm not going to use it because not so much as a threat, but
right,
this is what I do.
right, right, right,
This is what I do." And instead of seeing that, when you send a message out into your organization, it's okay to use that.
right.
Please use it. You
Yeah,
know, then people will be much more efficient.
right.
As in most cases, you know, all of these you have to sort of take with a grain of salt,
Mhm.
but for the most part, within guidelines, tell people use AI.
Yeah.
Yes, use it. Be more efficient.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think a lot of writers, I mean, I do as well. We use it as an assistant to writing and coming up with a draft or the initial outline, and then you build out the content, the meat of it. But
yeah,
yeah, it's amazing how you could reorganize and restructure an entire story just by adding a few prompts in.
right. Yeah, so helpful. And it's really not. I mean, people who feel like it's a threat,
Yeah,
it's not. I mean, you should. The biggest threat is you not using AI versus someone who does use AI. The
right,
threat is someone who uses AI. That's that's the threat.
right. So you see AI more as a complement for people, not a replacement?
Yeah, and it still is. That is one. There's a few different nuances to that. So I think AI right now is really a complement to humans for most part. I mean, I'm not talking about. I think a good example, maybe a good analogy, is for those people who have Teslas or
Mhm.
self-driving cars. You still need to keep your hands on the wheel. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And people who have actually used that, which I have, you need to keep your hands on the wheel. And so I love using self-driving in my Tesla,
Yeah.
and but it has absolutely taken a U-turn,
Yeah.
not stuck because it couldn't fully make the U-turn and just
Right.
stopped in the middle of the road with
Oh,
oncoming
wow. Yeah.
traffic. Okay, it's also gotten me places just fine, but there are
Right.
still areas where you have to keep your hands on the wheel still. And another example, like I said, we've for software development, I provided my team with all the tools that they needed to fully generate code using AI, and I provided them with chat GPT accounts, everything to generate code using AI.
Mm.
But if you don't know how to actually do that on your own, if you're not just using it how to be more efficient, then it's going to write code that's 95% there, but it's that other 5%. If you don't know how to bridge that gap, you might as well not use AI at all, because you'll just go down a rabbit hole and get stuck. So
Mm.
you still have to keep your hands on the wheel with coding. You still have to keep your hands on the wheel in your Tesla. You still have to keep your hands on the wheel for most parts. And so how that plays out in different applications
Mhm.
is different. So a good example is um, when you're nurturing leads. A lot of CRMs now have AI nurturing. So it can automatically send a text message. It can
Mm.
automatically respond to a question from a potential customer. It can automatically do all these things. But it's a good idea until you feel confident with that to have it in a mode where it's generating a response, but someone's looking at that response and clicking yes,
Right. Yeah.
where it's not directly sending those out. So things like that. So there's just a lot of places where you still need to keep your hands on the wheel. It gets back to your original question. It's really a compliment to people. at this
Yes.
point, with some
Yes.
exceptions, but it's really a complement. It's not a replacement. It turbocharges people is what
Right.
I do.
Yeah, that's good to know. I think there's people that may have some sort of sentiment worried that they're going to lose their job or things like that. But it's
Yeah.
good to know that this
Mhm.
is complementary and add on and a value and not a
Mhm.
replacement.
Yeah, I think the people who are risk at losing their job are the ones that don't adopt it. I mean,
Right.
those are the ones they're just going to get way outperformed by people who really have learned how to use AI.
That's another reason why we all need to jump on board. Those are great.
So we've talked about, communicating with your team that your company's using AI, providing tools to your team, AI tools to your team. The next one, the tip is start to get a mindset of think AI first. And so that comes with, and that's a discipline. I still have to do that where, and that's for burdensome tasks. I think AI first for burdensome tasks. So if you have a task list, for example, sometimes I have to, write content for you,
Right.
Judy, or sometimes I have to do certain things. And it's a big task and I have to do it. And now my mind has really shifted, but it's been a process of how can AI do this for me? Can I, can I write the content using AI first and then I edit it?
Yes.
Or if I'm not quite sure how to respond to an email,
Right.
can I just paste it into a tool and generate a response and look at that and say, is that right? And then respond. So really thinking AI first for tasks
Hmm.
is for burdensome tasks is it's important. I caught myself yesterday. I was going through and I was reconciling something from a financial perspective, and I'm taking a PDF document that had a lot of transactions. I'm copying those into a spreadsheet and looking at that and saying, okay, do these line up? I'm like, no, stop. Think
Hmm.
AI first. Upload the document to an AI tool, have it produce the spreadsheet, and then do the reconciliation. It saved me, probably a couple hours.
Yeah.
Uh, so just really thinking AI first for burdensome tasks. It's a mindset shift, and that's what it's really about. Shifting your mind to think AI first.
Yeah, no, I love that example, and thanks for sharing that because I think that's such a great example to be applicable of what you can do and know that instead of wasting more time figuring it out and being cumbersome, is that this is almost like a shortcut and probably a smarter way to get to where you need to go or to complete the task that you need.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the next tip is similar, but you really need to understand the pace of AI. Understand that AI is advancing so fast
Hmm.
that the capabilities available now are going to be different in 3 months. You have to be on the wave now. Okay, so the reason I'm saying that is you may start to do a deep dive on AI and be disappointed in the capabilities. Okay, in some areas, say, you know what, I tried to use it to analyze my financials. It didn't give me very valuable information, or it was wrong. Or if you do that now and then
Yeah.
do it, that's just it's specific, that's an arbitrary
Right.
example.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you do that now and you're disappointed and then you walk away from AI, that's going to be the wrong decision. Okay.
Mhm.
You need to have a mindset that this is changing super fast. And so you do that now, say, you know what, maybe I'll come back to that in 3 months.
Yeah, and probably in
Should be,
3 months, there's going to
yeah,
be other creators, inventors that's going to
yeah,
improve it even that much better.
yeah. It is changing so fast,
Wow.
changing so fast that you really can't say, okay, I tried AI, it didn't work. We're going to go back to the old way. It needs to be, okay, it's not quite ready yet. Maybe we'll revisit this in 3 months. You need to have that mindset, understand that that how fast things are changing.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, so the next three are really start to be a little bit more specific in their implementation. And it's going to talk about a little bit more technical, but there's a concept of AI agents. And AI, the next three relate to AI agents and where you might want to apply them. AI agents are, think of them as automation.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever implemented automation within your organization, it's very kind of rules based, where you determine what the rules are ahead of time. And we say, okay, when a lead is created in our CRM, we want to have that copied over to our operations platform, for example. So, or we want to synchronize these. So you use a tool, an automation tool, could do a data integration too, but suppose you use an automation tool to go log into the CRM, look for new leads, and copy them over here. So that's kind of automation. But when you're building automation, those tools are, a human is coming up with the intelligence and programming the tool to do that. Okay. AI agents are a little bit different. Okay. And they're very, it's a subtle difference, but it's actually very, very powerful. And how AI agents would work is you give an AI agent access to the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
You give an AI agent access to the operations platform,
Mm-hmm.
and then you give it a job. And you can write that and, type it up and say, hey, whenever there's a new lead in the CRM, copy that over to the operations platform. So it's not quite that simple, but basically
Yeah, yeah.
you're giving it jobs. You're not telling it exactly how to do it. It's more like you're telling a person. So you can train it how to do things. And so think of AI agents more human-like, where they
Yeah.
have some intelligence in how they're doing their job, and you're training them to do the job, but you're not programming them to do it. It's a subtle difference, but that subtlety is hugely powerful. AI agents are very powerful in how they work. So there's next three tips are related to AI agents and areas where you might want to implement them that I think are kind of no-brainers. So one is, and I mentioned it before, AI-enabled CRMs. So
Mm-hmm.
I think whatever CRM you're using, you want to make sure that it has some AI capabilities, or that you're starting to use, or you're switching to an AI-based CRM. So this is going to really make, it will start to do nurturing, AI nurturing, identification of leads, things like that. But using, migrating to a CRM where AI agents are doing the nurturing would be a huge win for most organizations. Really help to stay on top of your lead pipeline and close more business. Okay.
Yes.
So the next is any really labor intensive, like document processing, document ingestion, classification, reading documents, things like that. Implement AI agents or AI vendor tools, such as, we have some that are specific for the mortgage industry. Implement tools for labor intensive tasks in your business. And so there's purpose built tools out there for a lot of different tasks. There are also general AI agents where you can train AI agents to do your specific labor intensive tasks, but look for labor intensive tasks within your organization to implement AI agents or AI tools.
Got it.
The next one is support. So customer support is something that's very common in most businesses, just responding to emails. AI agents and AI support tools are very capable now. Most of the questions that you're going to get, what's the status of my order, or, things like that. AI agents are really great for things like that. If they have that, you can give them access to your data, give them access to even job aids or things like that are internally that you've written up. There are ways to do that where you can really train those repetitive customer support tasks. You can train AI agents to do that, and they do a pretty good job.
Wonderful.
So the last one, I think the first one is very important, is, put a practice in place to keep up with AI. I said that's the most important. I think having that foundation of just keeping up with AI, just don't get static. The last one is, I think, just as important, is really you need to open your mind and stay open-minded about it. Don't make decisions about adopting AI based on what's available today. You need to keep your mind open about the future. And AI is changing really at a blistering rate. I mean, it's just you can't stay static in your mindset about AI capabilities. You have to keep your mind open to the future of what may be capable in 3 months, 6 months, et cetera. I think staying open-minded about AI is probably the second most important. So, but that's
Thank you so much, Tim. I love these tips. They're so applicable and tangible. And that's what I love about it for, I think, people like myself and others that are not very well versed in AI. This is very tangible to work with. And
mhm.
thank you for offering these tips.
Yeah, I think it's hope it helps someone out there.
Absolutely. If you like to talk with Tim Armbruster, his website is called Grind Analytics and it's grindanalytics.com. You can email him at sales@grindanalytics.com. Thanks
Okay.
so much, Tim. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks, Judy.